it is called Unending Tragedy. They released it yesterday. There was a lot of press leading up to that release, a lot of things that came out ahead of time that, caused me to circle back around and watch the whole thing. It's kind of like, uh,
Welcome, Defending Elvis. I've got a bit of a croaky throat. Thank you for joining me. Let's just get on with it. Hi,
I'm not
guys.
going to say a documentary. It does say first episode, so I don't know if they're planning on doing more. But anyhow, I'm going to recap what I saw. Some new stuff that came out that we know about. Her life insurance policies, her relationship with her mother, um, and her drastic weight loss just before she died. So that was some really big highlights that are kind of hitting the news. But this thing, I mean, it's worth a watch. I think it's an hour with commercials. Um, you can catch it online for free. I know it's on Hulu, but I saw it on Fox. I'll put a link below in case you want to watch it too. But a lot of footage. And so it starts out where they're playing the 911 call and from the housekeeper, and then they recapped how she passed away. Danny Keogh coming back from dropping off the kids from school. The family is reporting that they don't know how long she was without a pulse. Riley had hopped on a plane to see her mother, but didn't make it in time. I didn't realize that she had hopped. It was kind of, yeah. She hopped on a plane to see her, and she didn't make it in time. So that's kind of really sad for Riley.
So we're having a little listen to Spotlight Spy. I like Spotlight Spy. I know these are couple of years old, these videos, but trying to get a feel for what happened, trying to understand what happened. I'm still trying to get my head around it. We'll listen to this on and off. I'm going to relook at Rick's post. One of our researchers said something. I've been asking Amy Collett if she can give me a bit of a timeline of what went on. I want to know what went on up until the moment she passed and just after.
Then they go through the history of Elvis, reviewing his death and his drug addiction, and then comparing the two as similar. And I feel like a lot of that is kind of, I mean, I don't know if it's going to go down in the history of the tragedy of his mother dying from addiction, then him dying from addiction, and then her. But gosh, there's so much.
See, I don't, we've already sort of covered this, but I don't like the whole addiction, 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 addiction. She was sick. She was sick, guys. She'd maybe problems with an old operation that had been done for diet loss. But they got to do it, haven't they? It's headline grabbing. Yeah.
Tragedy weaved in and out. I think that's why people can't stop paying attention to this story because, you know, as Lisa Marie was going through her life, I mean, it hit the high points. We kind of saw it. I definitely the Michael Jackson and that, but then it.
So obviously we all grew up, a lot of us grew up with Lisa Marie. Not all of us, but a lot of us did. I remember Lisa Marie. I remember growing up alongside her, Dad, Elvis.
Kind of for me, I didn't. It fizzled out with the rest of it, but then now circling back around and realizing just all the tragedy that was in her life, and I think that's why they're calling it an unending tragedy, and then more tragedy coming out even after the death with all of the financial stuff and what Priscilla um, and the rest are going through right now. But anyhow, as far as comparing the addiction between the two, Elvis and Lisa Marie, I
Carolyn, it's live.
do think that there is a predisposition, an inherent predisposition. Again, I don't know if it's necessarily similar, but she was just recently dealing with the tragic death of her son by suicide, and anyone who had that many years of opioid use and drug addiction, I think would inevitably deal with their pain, that deep of a pain, by going back to um, how you dealt with it before with opioids. It's tragic but true, and those neural pathways are a real thing. I mean, it is just a default mechanism when you've had a history of drug use for that long. Then they go on. Okay, so then they go on with lots of history with her marriages, the drama surrounding Michael Jackson, Nicolas Cage, Michael Lockwood, the births of her children, where she, with Michael Lockwood, where she was prescribed the opioids that she then later said was the catalyst in the beginning of her addiction issues. Then on to the bitter, and this is kind of leading up to the more the present day, the bitter divorce battle with Michael Lockwood that lasted 10 years. Court documents revealed he was accusing her of having a severe drug addiction where he had to take care of her, he had to feed her, he had to brush her hair. And oppositely, she was claiming that he was a pedophile. I mean, this just sounds like a divorce, like a nasty divorce, where he was a pedophile. He had thousands of pictures of children on his computer, which later, I guess, that was dismissed. But he reported afterwards saying that he was blaming this on tactics that she learned from Scientology. And I kid you not, I read that where he said that there is some tactics that they learned in Scientology where you can go to any lengths to destroy the other person. So
So Linda, I haven't read the pages yet. I'm going to read them here. I've only just very quickly posted them on Facebook and on the Defending Elvis chat. So no, we're going to read the few pages we've got of Softly as I Leave You.
I don't know much about Scientology, but I think we're learning about it more when this, through this storyline that's coming out. It also says, and this is interesting, especially because we're dealing with, Priscilla contesting her will, is that Priscilla had sided with Lockwood in the custody battle. I mean, siding with her ex-husband in a custody. I can't. Who knows the circumstances why if Lisa.
But it is shocking, isn't it, guys?
Did in fact struggle that hard with addiction. Was Priscilla protecting the children?
See, why do they keep going on about addiction? I understand she was on prescription medication. She may have been addicted to many of them. We've all read the different headlines about Lisa Marie, but she was also very sick. She was also very sick. Why don't they say that?
Or, did she and Lisa Marie just, was it just, I don't know. Sad, but it says that she sided with him in the custody battle. And in the end, and this is telling, Lisa got 60% custody and Michael 40. So, and he also, gets, he got 6,000 in child support. I think he asked for more. I think he asked for 10, but he wound up with 6. So I assume that he and Priscilla are still close. It's saying that she didn't have much of a relationship with Priscilla or Lockwood coming to the end of the death, coming to the end where she passed away. So,
guys, like Linda just said, there's 2 particular pages, but there's a bit more. I think it's page 294, page 295. Amy Collett sent them to me, our researcher. There's a couple of other bits as well. Softly as I Leave You. Yeah, we're all holding our breath on that book. We're all like concerned, aren't we? Yeah. It is pretty shocking what we're going to read. I've heard that somebody is posting some pages of the book Softly as I Leave You on Instagram. This is what Amy told me. So people are grabbing some of these pages and sharing them around. So let's keep going, guys.
Then they go on, TMZ goes on to say, right when that was settled and still painful, her divorce with Lockwood, Benjamin, her son, commits suicide in her home. So he apparently had a fight with his girlfriend in the backyard, what I read. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then he goes into
this is tough, guys, but, we're going to listen.
To the house, I believe in the bathroom, and shoots himself. The girlfriend finds him, and later with the toxicology reports, they found that he had had cocaine and alcohol in his system. So, this breaks Lisa's heart. They were very close. They had dinner with each other almost every night.
So Cheryl just posted that Memphis Mafia Kid has posted a video. Is Priscilla the reason we don't go to Graceland? Yeah, I watched it and they didn't really answer the question, did they? It sort of danced around it. Yeah, I'm not really sure why they titled that video. They even had a thumbnail, the picture of Priscilla. It didn't really answer the question. Cheryl, what did you think? Cheryl, did you think they answered the question?
Um, and so she locks herself in her home and doesn't come out for 2 years. And she returns to opioids. This is the
See, again, I don't like it. The whole return to opioids. There's more to it, guys. Come on. She lost her son. Could you imagine the depths of her depression? It's not straightforward. It's not fair to just call her an addict. I don't like it.
story. And it's true. I mean, if you look back, I think in the end she wound up writing an op-ed about grief and guilt and all of that, and losing a child and what you feel and about that. And I can imagine, and I didn't read the article, but just from my vantage point as a mom, having, if she struggled with opioid addiction for a certain length of time, and that would take you out of, being a parent being the parent that you want to be. It would make you unavailable for the people around you. Addiction like that.
It's just right. Anyway, okay, right. Let's have a look what we got here. Okay, guys. So this is the reason we're here. Okay. Now, Amy Collett sent me this. Amy's our researcher, Auntie Amy, we call her. Let's have a look. Let's see what we've got. Okay. Now, so far we have 4 pages. Let's see if I can read it. We're going to start on page 294. It is hard to read because it's slightly blurry and it's not very bright. So 294. Right, let me just make sure you can see it. Okay. So I'm a bit tired, so bear with me because I'll probably mess it up. So, softly as I leave you, Vicky said she'd pick Ivy up and bring her back while I called Navarone. When Ivy got to the house, we left for the hospital in Woodland Hills, breaking a few speed limits on the way. There were already 2 paparazzi hiding on the hill when we arrived, at the back entrance waiting for me. So much for the information blackout. So the paparazzi were waiting at the back entrance and they were already waiting there. So I texted Danny, who came to walk me inside to Lisa. Ivy went to park the car and then waited outside for Navarone. Close family and friends were arriving by then, but there was no private place to put them. The hospital staff scrambled to find a room for them to wait in, then escorted them inside. Sorry, it's hard to read, guys. Danny and I identified everyone and they were given passes. Michael had arrived with the twins. Just making sure I've said that right. Let me read that up again. The hospital staff scrambled to find a room for them to wait in and then escorted them inside. Danny and I identified everyone and they were given passes. Michael had arrived with the twins. Jerry was there. He had been in the next room with Elvis and Lisa Marie was born. Well, so she mentions, right, so she's having a memory, yeah? Jerry was there. He had been in the next room with Elvis when Lisa Marie was born. So she's referring to Jerry Schilling, isn't she, guys? He was there again, and she's lying, and she lay dying. So she's saying at this point, poor Lisa Marie was actually dying at this point. Now, obviously, this is tough, guys. This is hard to read, hard to listen to, a bit shocking. I knew from the first moment I walked into Lisa's hospital room that she was already gone. She was hooked to a machine that was breathing for her. So she was plugged in, because people keep talking about, unplugging a machine that do not resuscitate. So there was a time when she was on a machine that was breathing for her. So there is some truth to that, because people keep messaging me that it was a do not resuscitate, but now there was a machine. There was something that you could unplug. I know it sounds horrible, but there was. And she had a heartbeat. So at this point, she had a heartbeat. There was a little bit of brain activity. Her spirit was always so vital and wasn't there. Riley later told us that while she was still on her flight, she had felt her mother's spirit pass. Now, I've heard this, I've watched this interview with Riley. She says she actually felt her mother leave. She felt it. So sad, so sad. But none of us was ready to give up, yet a nurse came to tell me Navarone had arrived. See, I didn't even know Navarone was there, to be honest with you guys. I asked her to bring him into the room. Then we began to wait, and finally Navarone voiced the question. We were all thinking, how long until we knew if she was going to start breathing again? The doctor said it could be 2 minutes or it could be 2 days. After 2 hours, Navarone couldn't take the anxiety any longer. He left to go into the other room. The others were allowed in 1 or 2 at a time. Danny and I remained holding Lisa's hand, stroking her face, telling her we love her. Tough, guys, extremely tough, especially after what we've heard from the Bridget Cruz lawsuit. So we have another page. I'm sure the page is going to be very difficult. Now, it's tough, guys. It's tough. So it says there was, that's Priscilla talking, isn't it? There was brain activity. The heart did have a heartbeat. Let me just check your comments. Oh, it's okay, MT. I'm just checking your comments, guys. Okay, right, let's go to the next page. Where are we? Okay. Okay, this one's a bit blurrier, guys, but we'll give it a go. At some point, I remember that a nurse took me into the other room where Ivy stepped forward to meet me. The nurse told Ivy to see to it that I ate and drank something. My cousin took my arm, but then we heard an emergency alarm from Lisa's room. It was a code blue. Lisa's heart had stopped. And as I started back to my daughter, the nurse detained Ivy and spoke to her in a whisper. Nodding towards me, she told Ivy, "Come with us. I need you to stand right behind her. She's going to fall, and you will need to catch her." The next thing I remember is the doctor talking to me. He asked me what I wanted to do. They had restarted Lisa's heart, but there was no guarantee it would keep breathing. I asked the doctor, "What kind of life will she have if we keep her on that machine?" He looked at me with compassion and shook his head. "No quality of life." I thought about my girl, my wild, rebellious, passionate girl, lying in a vegetative state for the rest of her life. I said what I had to. Take her off the machine. Right, okay. So Priscilla said, take her off the machine. Doctor, my voice was barely above a whisper. I said what I had to do. Take her off the machine, doctor. My voice was barely a whisper. The nurse began to unhook the apparatus that kept Lisa's chest rising and falling. I looked at Danny and said, "We have to tell Danny so they can say goodbye." But as I began to move towards the door, I heard Danny, anguished, cry, "No, Nonna, don't go. We can't leave her all alone." It was unbearable. I began to sob. I don't remember falling. I know that Ivy caught me after everything went dark, and I just can't remember. I don't want to remember. I mean, bloody heartbreaking, isn't that, guys? That is a very, very difficult thing to read. Very difficult. Do you have any thoughts, guys? Do you have any thoughts? We all of us are parents, aren't we? All of us are parents. Well, a lot of us, not all of us. Many of us, most of us are parents, even grandparents. We all know how that would feel. We all know how horrible, horrific, heart-wrenching that would be. So we must remember, guys, and I've been saying this as well. I've been saying it all along. We don't know what the truth is. So the people that are angry or hateful towards Priscilla, we don't know. I know that some of you want to believe that she unplugged the machine, especially if you hate Priscilla. But we have to remember that there is a lawsuit here. There is a lawsuit happening, and a lawsuit is about money. Have to remember that. Lawsuits cost hundreds of thousands of pounds, if not millions. So we don't know that what Bridget Cruz has put in her lawsuit is, if there's any truth to it. But it could be, couldn't it? We don't know. We have to keep an open mind. I really believe we have to keep an open mind. Yeah. I don't think we should be too quick to say that the machine was unplugged. I think we have to try and be as fair as we can be. I've been saying 50-50. I don't know. When you read something like that, it's tough. It's tough, guys. Has me reading those 2 pages made any of you feel different about Priscilla? Please put it in the comments. So Regina, she should have waited for Riley. Yeah, there would have been a doctor. Of course, there would have been many medical people. Yeah. Okay, Linda, I understand. Let me just go back to the beginning of the comments. So Pat's here. Hi, Pat. Hi, two women. So we've got two more sort of small sections of pages. Hi, Anna. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Lorna. Hi, MT. Just seeing if any of you guys have anything to say. It's difficult. It takes your voice away, doesn't it? It takes you know, I think you sort of go a bit into shock, don't you, when you read something so serious sounding like that. Yeah, it was Auntie Amy found them on. I think they were on Instagram. It's interesting that I did. There's a few people that were there that I didn't know were there. I've only found out recently. I didn't know about all the people that were there. Um, we've been trying to find out who was there. So I'm just quickly checking your comments, guys. Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, my guess, guys, is that if they had kept her alive, she had very serious brain damage, very, very serious brain damage. If they had kept her alive, we can't ignore that. I do really believe we should take away our personal feelings. If any of you are sort of hateful towards Priscilla and angry at her, it's going to be hard for you to be impartial to this, because I feel as a parent, yeah. So when I read that, I'm shocked, yeah. So I don't think about the wrongdoing of Priscilla concerning Elvis, yeah. I think about a mother losing her child, a father losing his child. I feel that. So this is difficult, guys. Right, so let's go to the other pages. Let's have a look. Where are we? Let's get the other two pages. It clicks up. Right, it doesn't have a page number. I'll just read it. Given regular visitation rights, the girls would live primarily with Lisa, but they would still be with their father part-time. Lisa was unhappy with the outcome. She blamed it partly on my refusal to take a legal stand against Michael. Her anger fueled what I feared most, an estrangement from my daughter. I knew that arguing with her was futile. I would be arguing with her addiction. I also knew, with a stab to my heart, that she would never completely forgive me, and she never did. I was losing one of the two people I loved the most. I didn't know yet what I would soon lose her permanently. The events poisoning our lives would prevail. Let's have a look. We've got one more. I'm sure, you know, my guess is that there's more on Instagram. Baz Luhrmann offered his condolences to my granddaughter and me and told Lisa, we will miss your warmth, your smile, your love. Austin said his heart was completely shattered. John Travolta told Lisa's baby girl, I'm so sorry. Yoko Ono told me that her heart ached for me. There were many more, too many to share. The doctors eventually determined that Lisa had died of a small bowel obstruction as a result of the bariatric surgery. The dangerous complications ultimately stopped her heart, but Riley and I knew that Lisa's heart had really stopped beating the day Benjamin died. I like to believe that her son and her father were there to see her over. I need to believe that my girl is not alone. So she's obviously talking about Elvis and Benjamin. So let me just shrink this down a minute. So a tough one, guys. A very tough one. Let's just check your comments. I'm a bit, to be honest with you, I'm a bit taken aback. I'm a bit speechless. I'm quite gobsmacked, you know. Well, Regina, you say as a mother, you wouldn't have pulled the plug just after such a short time. It, Now, if I was in the room, I'm just trying to think. If I was in the room, I think I would have waited for Riley. I think I would have waited for Riley because, you know, it's the daughter. The machine is keeping the heart beating. So it's a living body, isn't it? But I think I would have waited for Riley. But that doesn't mean she would have lived. She wouldn't, you know, if she's brain dead, if she's got serious brain damage, there's no changing the outcome. The outcome is she was gonna die. Yeah, I don't think there's any stopping that. I think probably the number one thing that people are concerned about is the not waiting. Yeah, I think isn't that generally now what everyone is saying? Okay, we were going to lose her. She was brain dead, probably, or at least very brain damaged. But they could have just waited for Riley to turn up. Yeah, which I think. I mean, is there a possibility that Riley gave permission, being next of kin? Does anyone know? It's a tough one, guys, because we actually don't know why they turned the machine off so quickly. We don't know why. We're trying to all blame Priscilla because a lot of you don't like Priscilla. Some of you hate Priscilla. But we don't actually know. There's a possibility Riley told them to. She was next of kin. We don't know, guys, do we? Yeah, I understand that. But what if Riley told them to turn it off? This is the thing. We don't know. When we know all the facts, then Nat can say they should have waited for Riley. We don't know all the facts. That's the problem. Right. Let me just have a look here. Let's get YouTube up a minute. Let me just I stored.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Chat with Kat. Boy, I had such a response on my video yesterday about things heating up in the Elvis world, and I appreciate the comments and the new subscribers.
Quite a few of you have sent this video to me. Hang on a minute.
Woke up this morning. Oh, and I'm wearing my Elvis.
Sorry. Quite a few of you have sent this to me. Let's see if it comes up. That's not working, is it? So look. So people keep let me just pause it. So many people have sent me this. I think we'll listen to some of it. I think we're all a bit shell shocked at the moment. So let's just listen to some of it, and we'll just see what how we feel.
12/20/24. 1 year ago today, Lisa Marie Presley passed away in West Hills, California. And I thought that I would interpret or read her autopsy report for you and interpret as best I can. I did a lot of research on this, and I hope I'm going to make sense of this for you, because it took me a long time to make sense of it for myself. So it says on the name, first, last, middle name, Lisa Marie Bolu Presley, which is, Bolu is Priscilla Presley's maiden name. So it's just interesting that she would have that name on her death certificate. But Lisa Marie Bolu Presley, normal address, 5925 Normandy Drive in Calabasas, California.
So Nicola has just messaged me. She said that in Lisa's book, that Riley did not give permission. Is that right? Can anyone else confirm that? Let me just check your comments a minute. So in Lisa's book, there's a bit in it that says she did not give permission. Is that true? Because I don't want to. I know Nicola has just said it, but is that correct? So Nicola, could you send me the page? Could you send me the page? So Nicola's just typing now, okay? Yeah, so I don't want to confirm that that she did not give permission, unless I see the page. Please send me the page. Does anyone have the page? Let's keep going, guys.
And she passed away at the West Hills Hospital and Medical Center on Medical Center Drive in West Hills, California.
Because I'll tell you why. Because if she did not give permission, then it can only have been Priscilla or Danny Q. I don't know, guys. I mean, he's not next of kin. You know, almost all of you are saying she should have waited, aren't you? Almost all of you are saying she should have waited. Yeah, I would say all the comments I'm getting.
The autopsy report, this is the verbalization of the case done by a sergeant, homicide sergeant, Detective Takashima. And it takes place at the West Hills Hospital Medical Center. And the daughter was notified. That would probably be Riley Keough, Lisa Marie's oldest daughter. Lisa Marie was last seen 2 days before this at the Golden Globe Awards when the movie about her father, Elvis, was being shown at the Golden Globes. And most people commented when they saw her, they were sort of surprised at her appearance because she did not look healthy.
No, she didn't. The whole world knew. I think we all remember, many of us remember watching Lisa Marie that night. We all knew something was wrong. I don't think any of us thought she was going to die. Yeah. We just thought, oh my God, something's very wrong. We all knew. This is why I was so worried about the people that were around Lisa, why they didn't take her to hospital. So Nicola has sent me a page. Is it just one page? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's just one page. Let's see if we can get it up and read it. So I think this is quite critical. If Riley gave permission or did not give permission to turn the machine off, I think that is people's biggest concern, isn't it, guys? Do you think? Do we agree with that? Let's see if I can put it. All right, so Emily's trying to get on, I think. Emily, you should be able to get on. Okay, Emily, after this show, I'll see if I can double check for you, okay? So sorry, guys. Let me just I want to try and get this page so I can read it out to you guys. Let's see if I can send it. Okay, right. Let's get the page up. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. Let's have a look. Okay. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? How are we going to get that off? Okay. Right, let's have a look. Okay, guys, I've got it up. Thanks to Nicola. Nicola, thank you so much. Let's have a look. Okay, right. Yeah, no, I don't think your comments are coming up, Emily. I'll have to sort it out after I finish, Emily. I'm sure it'll all be fine tomorrow. Right. Okay. I just want to read your comments, guys. So thanks everyone for joining us. This is a bit of a tough live for me. I'm a bit uncomfortable with this live, but we're going to see it through. Let's read the page, play a bit more of that gentleman talking. So my question is, did Lisa give permission to make those types of decisions? Yeah, I mean, if we go by Bridget Cruz's lawsuit, she left a directive to resuscitate her. Yeah. But it was in 2010 in the lawsuit. Yeah, is that right? So let's just read it out, guys. So, a little wait, she'll hear you. So I put my hand on my surrogate belly at lunch one day, and in my mind I told Tupelo to try and gain a little bit more weight before her birth. Somehow she ended up gaining the perfect amount of weight. Maybe it worked. On the airplane home, I felt like my mother was between two worlds, being resuscitated, falling, falling. I wanted so badly to be there with her spiritually at least, and tell her that I supported whatever she wanted to do. I closed my eyes and talked to her spirit, just like I had Tupelo's. If you need to go, go. If you need to stay, stay. We were somewhere due west of Death Valley when the text from my dad stopped. I couldn't bear silence for very long. I texted him, but I already knew. It was 5:18 when my father texted. She was in cardiac arrest again. Oh my God. At 5:19, he wrote, "Can you call me?" "No, I'm on the plane," I wrote. At 5:20, I wrote, "Is she dying?" My dad didn't respond for 4 minutes. I wrote again, "Did she die?" I waited. Then he replied. Then his reply arrived. So obviously she had died. So not crystal clear. I would say not crystal clear. Let's check your comments, guys. So what's this? According to Riley, Lisa died when she was on the plane. Yeah, we just read that. Thank you, Nat TV. So I wouldn't say that's crystal clear, that what I've just read. They said the same about Elvis, that he was headstrong. I think it's an excuse for them doing nothing for Elvis and Lisa. All right, so Emily, you got on. Well done, Emily. The iconic trio. Okay, guys, let's play a little bit of this gentleman. Pretty tough, pretty tough. I'm a bit speechless, to be honest with you. But where are we? Let me just see if I can find it.
Today's January accident versus natural death was being shown at the Golden Globes, and most people commented when they saw her, they were sort of surprised at her appearance, because she did not look healthy during that, and she wouldn't last probably a little over 48 hours at that point is when she'd be gone. Now it says, according to investigators' case assignment form, on January 12, 2023 at 5:31 from West Hills Medical Center reported an apparent accident versus natural death of Lisa Marie Presley to investigator Ryan Benavides Perez. It was reported that the decedent, from now on, if you hear me say decedent, we're talking about Lisa Marie. She had a history of depression, anxiety, CVA, which is a cerebral vascular accident, and substance abuse, and it has in parenthesis a subattack.
So, I mean, some of the information on this is not going to be very nice, guys. I'm not sure if I want to play it. I'll play a bit more. Let's just go.
That drug that came up in Matthew Perry's autopsy not that long ago. She was found unresponsive at home in cardiac arrest. A return of spontaneous circulation was achieved, and her stomach was severely distended. An x-ray showed ischemia, ileus, which is I've written this down. It describes a variety of conditions that occur when blood flow to your intestines decreases. Ischemia can be due to fully or partially blocked blood vessel, usually an artery, or low blood pressure leading to an overall reduced blood flow. Intestinal ischemia can affect your small intestine, your large intestine, that would be your colon, or both.
So I suppose the big question for you guys, I mean, this is all going to be sort of medical sort of jargon, but I suppose the big question is very simple, isn't it, guys? The big question is, why didn't Priscilla wait? I think that is the thing here. She wasn't going to come on. Let's face it, guys. Lisa had lost her life. Yeah, she had lost her life. So this is really boils down to just that. Why didn't Priscilla hang on a bit for Riley to turn up. I think it's that simple.
And ileus also is the lack of movement in the intestines, providing blockage of food. So the stuff that goes in is supposed to come out the other end, but it didn't. It was blocked.
You know, I still think, you know, we've got to think about this, guys. If we're thinking about the lawsuit, Bridget Cruz's lawsuit, yeah? Now, Bridget Cruz is giving the impression that Priscilla intentionally ended Lisa Marie's life. Yeah. Now, that means that Bridget is hinting that Lisa could have lived. Do we agree with that? Isn't that what Bridget Cruz is trying to say in her lawsuit? Lisa could have lived. Priscilla ended it, prevented that from happening, because she wanted to be the Queen of Graceland, because she wanted to, Graceland was hers. But that doesn't really make sense, really, does it? Because she was basically brain dead. She'd had another heart attack. She was basically dying, if not dead. Now, I understand why people would keep the machine going, to keep the heart beating, so that Riley can visit her mother before they turn off the machine. I completely understand that. But Bridget Cruz is saying something a bit different. She's saying that Priscilla intentionally ended the life sooner so that she could become the Queen of Graceland. Get it? This is a different story, I think.
And she went back into cardiac arrest and death was pronounced. The toxicology was positive for acetaminophen, which is like a Tylenol, like a painkiller of some sort. The detective homicide sergeant says, I was assigned this case at 9:15 on the 13th, the next morning. Forensic attendant Gus Valdivia transported the decedent from the hospital to the medical examiner at 10:10 a.m. the next day. The location, again, the West Hills.
So there we go. That's an interesting comment. Shelley says pacemaker would have been placed there to determine if she was brain dead. Okay, I think that's a good comment. Yeah, Pat, you're saying you're confused what the truth is or made up, but concerned about what particular bit? What are you concerned about? Hi, Rusty. Hope you're well. Having a bit of a serious live stream at the moment. Everyone's a bit in shock. We've just read a couple of pages of Softly As I Leave You concerning when Lisa lost her life. So everyone's pretty tense, I would say.
Hospital center. There was no, it said under injury, they have to report any injuries. This is unknown. Reported history of over-medicating. On the morning of January 12, 2023, the decedent was not feeling well and had complaints of abdominal pain. Her ex-husband then took her children to school, and when he returned, he found her unresponsive. He called 911 and began CPR.
Pat, he was there. He was there.
LA County Fire Operator 55, what's the address of the emergency?
We don't know what this is.
How about?
It's
Yes, but the closest street on the corner is
I don't know. It's what is it here? I really don't know. It's in that.
Okay, ma'am, I'm sure this is in. Is that correct?
No, it's that. Oh, no.
Ma'am, is there someone else there with you right now?
Yes, he's
453.
He's trying to.
Okay, can you hand him the phone because I can hear him a little bit better than I can hear you?
Hi. Hello. Hi.
Okay, sir. Listen, paramedics are already on the way. Code that they need to get in there.
No, there's a security gate on the neighborhood, but they'll just let them through.
Okay, Ken. Okay, just want to make sure I have the right location.
How far are they?
I have no idea where they're at right now. So over.
I think they're here.
Okay, are they there with you?
Okay. Go ahead and
Okay.
with you guys.
All right, thank you. I bet.
She was transported to the hospital where death was later pronounced.
Pretty tough, guys. Pretty tough. Very difficult to listen to. Just unbelievable that it happened.
Per the initial deputies at the scene, no obvious paraphernalia or narcotics were found. She had no reported recent injuries or accidents. She had no known medical history. She reportedly had a history of unspecified drug use in the past and had been sober for the past few years. Foul play is not suspected. On the 12th, she was found unresponsive by her ex-husband at approximately 10 to 15 minutes of downtime. The ex-husband called 911. I know this is repetitive, but I'm reading the document. Paramedics arrived at the scene approximately 10 minutes and were able to achieve the return of spontaneous circulation. She was transported to the hospital via ambulance and arrived at 11:21 a.m. She was seen to have a severely distended abdomen, which was rigid. While in the emergency room, the decedent went into VFib arrest at 12:28 and again at 1:01 p.m. After a return of spontaneous circulation was achieved, a temporary pacemaker was inserted at 1:15 p.m. She was then admitted to the ICU for further management. A head CT showed evidence of severe anoxic brain injury. Now that
So they actually confirmed brain damage.
is the loss of oxygen. And they always say, if you lose oxygen, if you stop breathing, you'll get brain damage. It usually takes a few minutes. They say around 4 minutes for that to happen. But after 4 minutes of no oxygen to the brain, it starts breaking down, thus brain damage. A CT of the chest, abdomen, and pelvis showed a very distended abdomen, concerning for ileus, which is, again, that lack of movement of the waste going through, which should be going out the other end and just wasn't. A urine toxicology screen was negative. The decedent was also found to have severe metabolic acidosis, that's way too much acid.
Let's have a look at this, guys. Symptoms of acidosis.
In her system. Her condition continued to decline, and she went into cardiac arrest at 4:48 p.m. Despite all resuscitative measures, she was pronounced dead on January 12, 2023 at 5:08 p.m. And this is, again, the detective writing this down. Via telephone, I spoke with the daughter, and she provided the following information. The decedent,
Right, let's listen to this, guys.
Lisa Marie, had a history of issues with her blood sugar and blood pressure. She was taking medications for her blood pressure. The decedent had cosmetic surgery a few months prior and was prescribed opiates after.
Okay, well, there we are. So she was prescribed the opiates because of the cosmetic surgery.
She later developed an infection and was admitted to the hospital. She was again prescribed opiates. She was then later prescribed a new medication so she could be taken off the opiates. The decedent had a history of over-medicating. She was known to forget that she had taken her medications and would take them again. The decedent had a history of alcohol abuse and illicit drug use in the past. She had reportedly been clean from both since 2015. She smoked.
So let's have a look at this. You can take a screenshot of this if you want, guys. So yeah, they're just talking about her life, aren't they?
A pack of cigarettes a day. She had experienced issues with constipation for years. She also had.
So this is Elvis had this, didn't he? Elvis suffered from these things.
Had a distended abdomen for years. The decedent had complained of abdominal pain for the past few months. She did not seek medical attention. She also had complaints of feeling feverish and vomiting and/or feeling nauseated for months. On the morning of January 12, 2023, she had complaints of severe abdominal pain. The family has no suspicion of this being a suicide. The scene description: death had occurred at a hospital, therefore no coroner scene investigation occurred. So if
I mean, come on, there's no way it was suicide.
they were at home, if she died at home, you would naturally look around the room to see if something happened, pill bottles or weapons or whatever. Since it was in the hospital, they didn't have to do that. The body examination: she is an adult Caucasian female who was viewed on a table at the Forensic Science Center. She was nude. Multiple medical appliances were seen in place, including an endotracheal tube, EKG patches. There was an IV on the top of her right hand, central line, right femoral line, urinary catheter. Bandages were seen on her left antecubital fossa. That would be her elbow, basically, probably an injection, and right middle finger. Apparent superficial wounds were seen to her chest and back. Purplish discoloration was noted to the right, again, the elbow would be the right elbow. Her abdomen was distended. She was noted to be incontinent of her bowels. Apparent healed scars were observed to her breasts. A tattoo of an unknown design were seen to her right inner wrist. And the words Ben twice, her son's name, Ben, 2 times in a row, was tattooed on her left hand. There were no obvious signs of trauma seen. Ben, her son, who ended his life a couple of years before this. She was visually identified using her Cal photo image as Lisa Marie Bolu Presley. Family also viewed her at the hospital and confirmed her identification. Unknown tissue donation. Now, this is interesting. Probably the first thing that was filled out by someone at the hospital was this form, because it was handwritten. And in this one, it says the patient was unresponsive, no sedation, pupils fixed and dilated, no reflex present. In my opinion, the cause of death is severe metabolic acidosis. Again, back to the acid in her stomach. That was the original document that was handwritten. So again, this is the summary of events. It's repetitive, but this is the document. I've got lots of notes on this so I can hopefully explain it. The decedent, Lisa Marie Presley, is a 54-year-old Caucasian female who was complaining of abdominal pain in the morning of January 12, 2023. She was later found unresponsive at home and 911 was called. She was transported to West Hills Hospital, where, despite medical intervention, she was pronounced dead at 5:08 p.m. During her hospitalization, she was found to have a severely distended abdomen and diagnosed with
So he's repeating the same thing. I'm not sure why.
severe metabolic acidosis, which is too much acid in her system. The external
So they're basically saying the acid caused her to die.
examination. The body is identified by toe tags as that of an unembalmed, refrigerated adult female Caucasian who appears about the reported age of 54 years. The body weighs 139 pounds and measures 62 inches, which is just under 5'2". She is well-built, muscular, and well-nourished. Numerous well-healed scars are noted to the mid-abdomen above the umbilicus, which is the navel, as well as to the right and upper left quadrants and lower quadrants of the abdomen. A well-healed scar is noted above the right eyebrow. Small, well-healed scars are noted on both the right and left forehead at the hairline. However, there are 4 separate 0.5 centimeter rectangular punctures on each side of the frontal parietal bone above the temple.
So this is plastic surgery. I'm sure this is plastic surgery, yeah?
Involve only the superficial table of the skull. A scar is noted to the upper of the left forearm. Well-healed scars are noted to the right and left breasts. Multiple tattoos are identified. A symbol is noted to the back right forearm. Another symbol is noted to the left under the forearm. The word Ben twice is noted on her left hand. There's a tattoo of a design on the front of the right foot. Now, that design is like a Celtic circle that both she and her son got identical tattoos on the right foot, on the top of the right foot. And also she had the astrological signs of her children tattooed on her body. And one of them was the Libra. Ben was the Libra. And there was also an Omega tattoo, which is the end of something. It's the end of the Greek alphabet, but it's also the end of, life, probably in this case. And maybe she had that tattooed after Ben died. I'm not quite sure, but nobody will really know it. Her family might. The head is normocephalic and covered by long, wavy brown hair. Examination of the eye reveals irises that appear to be hazel in color and the sclera that are clear. That's the whites of her eyes. There are no petechial hemorrhages of the conjunctivae of lids or the whites. So there aren't any broken blood vessels in her eyes, which would happen with, strangulation or something. That's just a typical thing they look at when they're doing an autopsy. There were no broken blood vessels in her, on the whites of her eyes. Upper and lower teeth are present. The neck is unremarkable. There is no chest deformity. There is no increased anterior-posterior diameter. The abdomen is distended and firm. Signs of cardiopulmonary resuscitation are as follows. Defibrillator imprint noted to the left back. Red abrasion is noted to the anterior chest. That's the front. A rib fracture is noted to the front lateral right third rib. There's evidence of old surgery scars present on the abdomen. The gallbladder, the appendix, and both ovaries are gone. Now, I looked up that, and the removal of your ovaries is what's called an oophorectomy. And it's mostly because the most common reason would be an ovarian cyst for having that procedure. It's also used to treat problems such as a twisted ovary and to remove the risk of developing ovarian cancer. The body wasn't clothed at the time of autopsy. No clothing accompanied her. The incision was a standard Y incision, so they could access the organs. Now, there's respiratory system, there's neck, and there's, it's all very normal and very, very technical. And these are all things that they have to go over. The gastrointestinal system, the esophagus is intact.
So, it's gutting, in it. All of it is gutting. All of it. We shouldn't even be listening to this. This should be like not happening for another 30 years at least. So we've only got a couple of minutes left. We may as well hear it out. I just find the whole thing gutting quite tough to listen to. That's how I feel.
Throughout. The stomach appears tubular in shape with surgical staples noted to the left lateral aspect of the stomach. So this is interesting to note because that means that she had probably bariatric surgery, which is stomach stapling, and by the appearance of the staples, surgical staples. So in that case, bariatric surgery procedures include gastric bypass, sleeve gastrectomy, and gastrectomy, gastric band, and stomach stapling. These are all surgical procedures to lose weight. It effectively treats morbid obesity in people for whom such as diet, exercise, and medication have not been effective.
It's funny because now they've got this new injection, haven't they? Now it's going around the world. People are just taking this injection. Within 3 months, they've lost all their weight. No surgery needed. You must have that, guys, over in America.
Also help to normalize your metabolism, including blood sugar, blood pressure, and cholesterol. Gastric stapling surgery, also called gastric banding surgery, is a type of bariatric surgery for weight loss performed to limit the amount of food a person can eat. After gastric stapling or banding, a person can eat only about 3/4 to 1 cup of food, and the food must be well chewed. Eating more than the stomach pouch can hold may result in nausea or vomiting. So
it's very extreme, guys. Very extreme. Making these choices to have these very, There's very sad thing is that it does seem like Lisa is trying to get back to her old self. So she's trying to have these operations so that she can lose weight. She's getting ready for the future, isn't she? She's getting ready. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know.
So that happened. So she did have that surgery earlier on. I don't know what year that was. It does say no tablets or capsules are identified in the stomach. The toxicology. They did remove blood tissue, blood, liver tissue, and vitreous humor, which is the gel in your eyeball. They take a needle and extract some of that liquid, the gel that's inside your eyeball, so they can examine it and submit it for toxicology. And it says photographs have been taken prior to and during the course of the autopsy. The opinion of the LA County coroner. The cause of death of this 54-year-old female identified as Lisa Marie Bolu Presley is sequelae of the small bowel obstruction. That's a condition, is a consequence of a previous injury, meaning surgery, the surgery that she had, the bariatric surgery. The obstruction was in the form of a strangulated small bowel caused by adhesions that developed after bariatric surgery years ago. So that cuts off the blood supply to the intestine. This is known as a long-term complication of this type of surgery. Review of the toxicology results show therapeutic levels of oxycodone in the blood. Quetiapine as an antidepressant. It's also used to treat an opioid disorder. Along with buprenorphine, with associated metabolites, are also present and not contributory to death. There is no evidence of injury or foul play. The manner of death is deemed natural. And this is a chart which I will also put into the video, and you can just.
Okay, guys, only a couple of minutes left. You know, I don't even want to look at this, but there's 2 minutes left, and I'm going to go. I'm tired. I want to go sleep. I'm not going to be covering this again. This is too uncomfortable for me.
See the amount of injuries that she had, or life-saving measures, or tattoos, or everything. You could see, you know, the scars I mentioned that were on her skull are here, and you could see. So I don't know exactly what that was. I'm guessing I would be, well, anyway, speculation. The rectangular punctures on the skull. I don't know what that would be. I'm guessing cosmetic. That's my guess. And I don't think that's a wrong guess, but her toenails were painted green. The tattoo on her the top of her right foot, and her wristband and a toe tag. Yeah, so she had a lot of drugs in her system. But the finalized report, which I
think she was in a lot of pain, to be honest with you, a lot of pain. I would say almost everything she was prescribed was for pain. That poor young lady, poor Lisa Marie, you know. So much, guys, so much.
Have here is a ischemic bowel, artery supplying the bowel, reduce the blood flow, incarceration of the distal small bowel, adhesion of small bowel to peritoneum posterior right lower quadrant of the abdomen, remote bariatric surgery, severe metabolic acidosis, and also noted the fracture of the right rib during CPR, and the drugs present. The antipsychotics, which is the quetiapine metabolite, the buprenorphine, and the oxycodone. So oxycodone, buprenorphine counteracts. Poor thing. So that's Lisa Marie Presley's report, and accidental / natural death, January 12th, 2023, 1 year ago today. So that's that. Very sad, and a fascinating lady, absolutely fascinating. So thank you for bearing with me. Thank you very much for your time and for your attention.
Okay, guys, I'm going to go to sleep. I'm absolutely knackered. Thanks for everyone that joined me. Thanks, Amy, for quickly jumping in at the end. I got to go, guys. Not my favourite topic. I won't be covering this again. I don't like it. I don't feel comfortable with it. But I do think we had to do it. We had to do it, didn't we, guys? Anyway, take care, guys. I'll see you in the morning.